Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 25th episode of the Orcocast. Yes, 25 episodes, you're correct. Holy hell. Are we going strong, or are we going strong? With me today, my beautiful co host, Bum Bum, live
Hello,
from Edinburgh, Scotland, and
Aberdeen.
Aberdeen. Whatever. Yes, I can say And down below, beneath me, is Ray Fox, a new guest on the panel. He is a community manager for the partially Belarusian developer team called Alien Intelligence, and he's of course live here from Belarusia. Say hello.
Howdy, y'all.
Howdy doodly. All right, we have a completely jam-packed podcast today, and with that I mean like two topics. We are going to talk about. Uh, I already forgot what your topic was, Bum Bum.
Is the Cathrine full body remaster.
Oh yeah, right. I always forgot when it's about full bodies. I only like partial bodies. And we are going to talk about Star Wars Squadrons, and by extent, the future of Star Wars in gaming. Because this is actually going to be an interesting topic, and I'm going to speculate hard on it. Harder than on a. Yeah, I'm not gonna finish that joke. Okay, let's go into Cathrine Full Body first. Bob, take it away.
So Cathrine full body is a remaster, more of a fine-tuned version of the original game from 2011, almost 10 years old game, and it adds a new character, some new story events, and they fine-tuned all the puzzle stages. So basically, it's a visual novel that has horror elements, and its main quote unquote body of the game is puzzles. And the puzzles take form of push block puzzles that have several twists to them. So to start with, essentially, you're playing as this character who goes to a bar with his friends drinking almost every night, called the Stray Sheep, and he gets drunk while he's alone. His friends leave, and he comes across Cathrine, essentially a vixen that comes onto him, and he in the next day he wakes up and he realizes he cheated on his actual girlfriend, who's also named Cathrine. And this thing with, one is Cathrine with a K, one is Cathrine with a C. There is another Cathrine with a Q. So it's a play on the themes of foreshadowing the twist with the actual story. The puzzles come in. Since then, he every night has a nightmare of climbing this tower of blocks. And yeah, it's about making it to the top, making choices as if you were playing a visual novel that pushes you towards one end of the extreme. There is a small meter, it's red and blue. It's either freedom or love, I think. Freedom. Oh yeah, it's freedom or love. Many of these visual novels determines your ending. There is, I think, 12 endings for this version. The original had, I think, 7. So it's quite a few additions here. There's also a couple of secret endings with the new character that are it's a bit of a ride to take those endings, because either extreme gets you one of the Cathrines, which is with either K or C, and staying in the middle, it's very difficult, because essentially I have to balance out choices for the love or freedom that would move the meter, and that gives you the new ending with Cathrine with a Q. I've played the original 2011 version in 2011, years ago. I played the imported Japanese version, which was unpatched at the time, and it was rough. Some of the puzzles felt like they haven't been tested properly, and towards the end there are blocks that you don't know what those blocks do until you step on them. But as you get towards the ending, there is a wall that's just those random blocks, and in the original version, those were all random. Like you didn't know each reset of the level would give you different blocks. Here they actually still have the blocks veiled, but each veiled block has a set type. So if you repeat the level, it's always going to be unveiling the same block. So it makes it more consistent, and you don't get screwed by the RNG as much. I jotted down some notes. I think they redid some character designs. I thought with the way the current climate is, I thought they were gonna tone it down. Have you played it, Orco?
I played the original. I have the US import actually. I bought the limited edition for the PS3. And
Yeah.
I have this nice boxer shot that came with it. I'm looking at the package right now.
And you couldn't load in the original, right? So you could like screw up and that's it. Oh.
Yeah, so they redid some of the designs, and I thought they were gonna go safer, but no, like they go even more risque. Because the entire thing plays out as an episode of a Golden Playhouse show that's overseen by this over-the-top character called Golden Venus. And in the original, she has this essentially black and gold one-piece suit with a giant red afro. And the Cathrine full body version, she has a silver and gold, like pretty much kind of suit that's split down the middle. So it's way more risque. They give her like giant pom poms instead of a big red afro, and she talks like a porn star. And it plays to the themes because that's the one thing despite having myriad of issues with the original game, the story has been great. I think it's one of the most mature take in video games we get actually on growing up, being an adult, relationships, and how one side of the relationship always has an effect on the other. And here it comes in the themes of cheating. And I think they do really well here. I think the touched up script as well is a bit changed. Both the Japanese and the English scripts are changed a bit. They are way more. I'm not sure how overt it was I don't remember how overt it was in the original, but I think they downplay a lot that one of the main character's friends is actually transgender. If you remember Erica, the waitress, at the end, essentially.
Yes. They reveal that she has a.
Oh, that's
They
nice.
essentially reveal that because one of their friends is younger, who hasn't gone with this group of friends to high school, so he didn't know that Erica was Eric at the start. Even the new character, essentially Cathrine with a Q, it's a really obvious nod that she's not that they are not female. They do really well with that theme. I think they don't overdo it. It's not dismissed, but at the same time it's not, because we all know how Japanese media tend to deal with something that's not within the norm within their society. They tend to either go way too over the top on a stylization, or they just completely miss the point. But here I have to give the credits to the writers because they're doing a real well job. And it could have ended up as a caricature, but it's not. It's a really well developed and likable character who's super nice. Was it the gameplay's changed? It's more fine-tuned. Like, I think every puzzle went through several iterations before they settled on the one that's put in a game or the version of it. Because now I remember struggling very much with the original Japanese release. This one I blazed through. I think I didn't take more than 9 hours to finish an entire run for a true ending, which is kind of cool. I think they changed some of the voice cast as well. There's obviously Vincent Brooks, the main character is voiced by Troy Baker, who's great as ever. There is a lot of carryover because it's an Atlas game, so there's a lot of carryover from the Persona games. I mainly noticed that the character of the friend Orlando, he's voiced by the same guy who did Akihiko in Persona 3, and Erika's voiced by the lady that voiced Chie Satonaka in Persona 4.
Pretty decent cast.
Yeah, the cast is actually great. There's also Troy Baker and Laura Bailey. She's voicing the Cathrine with a K, the actual girlfriend of the main character.
Laura Bailey. Yeah, she's a good one.
So they're really great because I took like 3 pages of notes. So I was just like comparing it to the original. So yeah, as I said, when it comes to the Erica and Cathrine with the Q situation, the translation and localization on that part probably does it really well. They hit a lot of good moments with jokes and as well as emotional moments. They really sell it well. That is a great line that I jotted down because I thought it was great. It's towards the end of the game, and it's one of the last levels where the main character just looks at him and is like, fucking blocks, I'm gonna climb the shit out of you. It's one of my favorite lines in the game.
So
Yeah.
it's a climbing simulator with a bit of a sokoban and some choices, right?
Yeah, it's essentially, think of it as a more of it's a visual novel where the gameplay, instead of just going between locations, you actually have puzzle stages that progress the story as well.
So and the puzzle stages are a bit like sokoban, like the ancient Japanese game with moving crates and stuff.
Yeah, like QI or IQ Cube. Yeah, because that's the game I remember from PS1.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds great.
The
Yeah.
the the thing about the game is that you're just physically, or that your character who pushes the blocks physically exists in
yeah,
the game. So that's kind of a change up, and you need to
yeah,
basically pull those crates in order to get up to the top of the
yeah.
level.
And there's different types. First, you get like normal blocks that you can move, and then you see those golden blocks that you can't move. And then they mix it up. They add blocks that have essentially booby traps on them. So if you step on them and stay for them for too long, you'll get spiked. Then there are bomb blocks with 2 different radii. There are blocks that crumble if you step on them 3 times or twice. Then there's ice blocks, and the last couple of levels that I've played introduce the black hole blocks that will suck up into, essentially destroy any block that lands on them. And the main thing also is the stage is it's continuously falling apart. So as you climb up, you have to climb at a certain, otherwise you will get caught and essentially fall to your death, and you have to start over the level or start from checkpoint.
That
They,
sounds really lovely. That's good.
even if I thought this version of the game is easier than the original, it's in a way what it should have been, because the first release I think was a bit broken, especially the Japanese one. I'm not sure how the translated versions were, and this one plays smoothly. There is very little hiccups. There are obviously things. It's a puzzle game, so you have to think about it. But the timer and the stage constantly crumbling down pushes you along at a decent pace. The game also does what it does really well. I don't remember this in the original, but every time you finish a stage, there is a small landing where you can save the game and progress to the next stage. But there's also other people that you don't see as people; they're sheep. Other people other people see themselves as a human, but everyone else is sheep. And same for you. You see yourself as a human, but everyone else is sheep in those nightmares.
Hmm.
But you can talk to them, and talking to them, giving certain responses again shifts your essentially a karma meter. While at the same time, there's always at the landing there is a group that shares techniques, and it shows you, oh, you can do this to climb more easily, or climb under such conditions. And I don't remember that the game really teaching you climbing techniques and telling you, oh, you can do this, and it will do this, and it will help you climb higher. So that was great. I think that helps a lot, because there was stuff I instinctively knew, but like seeing that as an actual, like, oh, do this, and this will just ingrain it in my mind and made it easier to progress through the tougher challenging stages. So yeah, I think overall I was really surprised how much, in a way, the game doesn't change really from the original version. It feels just like a more fine-tuned version. I think if I played that, or if I got something like that at a release, I think this game would have been much bigger than it was. But
So
at the same,
Ultimately, that's like it's an etalon of things like a remaster should look like, right?
Yeah,
So it's a
yeah,
good it's a good like type of a remaster of a game.
yeah, definitely. It adds content, it remasters everything. All the models are touched up, so they look great.
4K.
And I don't have a 4K, so I can't say, but they look great in the new resolution because I'm pretty sure it didn't run at 1080p on the PS3.
It looked
And
like absolute
garbage, yeah.
yeah on the PS3. Not really garbage, but let's say they had
It wasn't
issues
ideal,
keeping
yeah.
it running smoothly and everything. The game had technical issues. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
I still stand by what I said that it's one of my favorite puzzle games ever.
Yeah, it is,
Still,
yeah.
even the PS3 version because it was just so unique, and I think I just came. Was Talos Principle before or after that game?
After.
After, yeah.
Yeah.
And I went
Cathrine.
from Cathrine full body, not full body, but from Cathrine right into Talos Principle in terms of
Mhm.
puzzle games, and that was fantastic. And those two back to back are still fondly remembered to this day. By
Yeah.
the way, everyone, Talos Principle is out on GOG.com. Please go and buy it.
Yes.
Thank you.
So yeah, I would definitely recommend it either on PS4 and I think it's on Xbox One as well. It's not on PC for some reason. It came out on Switch
Yes.
just this summer.
Yes.
So I think it's a perfect game to get it around if you want to like a quick challenge.
This is exactly where I just ordered it on.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that. I'm not sure how the Switch actually is going to handle the game, but I'm pretty sure it'll be fine.
Dude, the Switch is actually a really good console, and if you optimize for it, the game should run just fine.
Yeah, let's hope Atlas did just that.
Well, it's Atlas, so I doubt that.
Yeah, but yeah, otherwise, there's also some new scenes added with the existing characters. So you get new scenes mostly for the Stray Sheep bar, where the majority of the interaction with the characters happens. So you can actually the sheep you meet during the nightmares. Some of them you can actually meet at the Stray Sheep bar, and you can interact with them. And if you progress the storyline correctly, making the right choices and talking to them every night, you actually can save them, and they will appear towards the final levels at the bar, essentially to finish their storylines. And it's cool. It's a extra level of progression that doesn't necessarily detract from experience. It just makes it deeper because you get more of a understanding for what's happening a bit earlier. There's also the Rapunzel game, which is way tougher version of the nightmare stages that you actually go through as the character. It's framed as a small arcade game that's also a good practice for the techniques you want to use and for the actual levels.
I remember that from the PS3 version as well.
Yeah, they added actual stages. It used to be 64 stages. I think it's 99 now.
Nice.
So there's extra content there.
They should have made it 69 stages though.
Yeah, or you could just play up to stage 69 and leave it there. I also love the jukebox because they added new music tracks that you can listen to at the Stray Sheep bar. So there is now tracks from the original Cathrine, the remastered Cathrine, Persona 4, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 5, and all that fighting game Persona 4 Battle Arena or Battle Colosseum. I feel that this remaster is more of a nod towards fans of Atlas in general, because a lot of the stuff feels like nods towards the mainline series, which is the Persona and the Shin Megami Tensei games. Even some of the touched up script feels like and references Persona 4 because it's the golden playhouse. It's like the golden channel or the midnight channel from Persona 4. And I think for the arcade mode, which you unlock as you progress through the story, you can get Persona 5 characters. And some of the later references hint that it's sort of happening along with Persona 5, because there's a lot of biblical references which are heavily featured in Persona 5. If you're a fan of Atlus's output as it is, or you just like the Persona games, and you want something that's more mature, but also doesn't take as long to finish, I definitely recommend Cathrine. Yeah.
That's something or we all like to hear. More good games
Yeah.
means more good games, means more fun
Yeah.
for gamers.
Good game for the win. Sounds really good,
Yes.
especially with the part where the game is really remastered as it should, as any game should be remastered. Actually, always happy to hear that one.
I mean, from what I've heard, the Mafia remaster is also pretty great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I
everything
haven't
but the car, the
car race,
yeah, the car race,
the legendary car race.
the legendary, the memeist car race.
Can I just say I finished that as a kid on like a third try
I don't
Oh my
believe you.
god! Oh my god!
without even glitching the game. But then I tried it years later. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, see, just got lucky. You got actually lucky.
Yeah, I got the. I can't say that word, but I got that luck. Yeah.
If we are done with Cathrine full body,
Or
won't you?
part of the body.
Yeah, part of the body. I've eaten half of it. Now we are going to go over to a game that actually released yesterday on October 2nd. And it was a surprise to me actually to play this yesterday. It is Star Wars Squadrons. What is Star Wars Squadrons? Star Wars Squadrons is a Star Wars game that wants to be a dogfighting game. And to make a long story very short right at the start, I don't believe what I'm saying here, but EA actually managed to succeed.
Oh my god! You sure?
Yes, yes, I am. So I've played a little bit of the campaign on stream and I played a few multiplayer matches off stream. I'm like 5 hours in now. So take that as you will. What did I experience? So first, the missions of the single player campaign were fine so far. They felt a little bit lackluster. But overall, and this is what it boils down, the flying and dogfighting is fun as hell. I've been rarely so immersed in a cockpit than I was in this game. You even have the option to turn off the HUD, the HUD, for the entire game and just use the cockpit as your guidance, which is actually great. And I know immersion is just such an overdone trope, but if I tell you that I was in that cockpit for a few minutes, it's true. Because I don't actually give much of a about immersion in video games.
Does it have this great robot like RD2?
Yes, you actually
And it
have
goes beep,
those.
beep, boop, 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 beep, beep.
Yes, yes,
You've
they
been hit.
do. Yes.
Oh, that's so.
You
that's
even
so
you
cool.
even heard that R2D2 scream sometimes when you get hit really hard. Yes, it's great. I mean, there's some small little touches and details which are really amazing, and I personally, like I said, enjoyed it overall. There are some flaws with it. It kind of feels lackluster in some departments. Like, I know other people said it's a great throwback to the old X-Wing TIE Fighter and X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter games, where they say you couldn't run around the hangar in those as well, but I would like to run around in the hangar and just look around. This is 2020 and not the 90s anymore, so come on, guys. Let me just stroll around the hangar and find some secrets or something, or some Easter eggs.
Maybe you should even wash your car.
Yeah, or my X-Wing.
Yeah.
Fun's not allowed.
Yeah, no fun allowed. No fun allowed. I mean that's something I would have done. The game costs €40 bucks or whatever your regional third world country equivalent is. I think the price is fair. What you get is a single player campaign with 16 missions. I'm not too far in it, but you cannot play the Imperium, it seems.
That is actually sad.
Yeah, they threw that out within the first 5 minutes. You start actually in the prologue out playing the Imperium. Or you can select that, I think, and then they show it out right out of the gate.
I would love to play Imperium. I think they should make a DLC to be able to play the Imperium.
Like I said, I'm not sure if you really can. Maybe they come back later, but as of now,
Yeah.
it seems like no Imperium. As of now.
That's sad.
Yeah, but like I said, it could come back later. Then you get multiplayer. You get 2 modes essentially. One is like a co-op mode, so you play with 4 other players against AI, which is called Fleet Battle, and it's pretty good, actually. So you have like 4 wingmen, and just go in and shoot down TIE fighters or X-Wings. And the grand goal is basically to destroy the flagship of the other party. So if you fight against Imperium, you will destroy a Star Destroyer at the end. Very cool, actually. And then we have the team deathmatch called Dogfight, which is a blast. Never had so much fun in my life in a multiplayer game, I think. You have to be actually skilled to get somewhere in this game, and you have to utilize the control scheme very well. The control scheme at the start is weird because it's so different from what you are used to, but it makes total and perfect sense. So if you play with a controller, which I did, and I think you should play it with a controller, it doesn't make a lot of sense using mouse and keyboard on this one. You basically thrust and brake with up and down on the left stick. You do your barrel roll with right and left on the left stick, and you look around with the right stick and steer, essentially, which is actually pretty great. It's you have to get used to it, but once you do, it's very intuitive and very fluent. And I'm not at all for mixing up control schemes that have worked for years. Why should we always do the same?
Can it be played in VR?
Yes.
Oh, that is plus 1 point for the game. That is so.
I don't have VR, but yes, you can. It's fully VR compatible.
That's great.
Yeah. So you get for 40 euro bucks, you actually get a very, very compelling package. If you measure it by EA standards, that is. There have been other games that have been bigger for less.
Yeah.
But I think if you think about what EA actually wants to do with their games, this is actually a compelling package. And again, it boils down to that the mechanics of this game actually work so well. There's also some strategizing involved, like some fighters are different from each other. So basically the TIE fighter has no shield, but they are faster than most other fighters. So that's a direct throwback to X-Wing versus TIE fighter, for example.
Yep.
X-Wings do have shields, and you have like energy bars, and you can divert your energy resources to either thrusters, lasers, or just the shields. And so there's a little bit of strategizing involved. You can also even it out again. Normally I use when I'm in a dogfight, when I'm followed, I use it for thrusters or shields, depending on what is coming in. If I'm following someone, I divert it to the lasers, etc., etc. So there is actually some thinking involved in what you're doing.
That sounds great.
Yeah, especially in the multiplayer that comes into play heavily later. You can also outfit your spaceship with a variety of different lasers, like the normal standard laser. You have the barrage laser, which is basically faster firing, but doesn't do as much damage as Then you have shield variants, like you take less damage from rockets but will take more damage from lasers. So you have to think about how you go into a battle and what your strategy will be or your position. So there is some wiggle room to play.
Wiggle room.
Yeah. Wiggle. Even with if you have squad mates, you can do different setups and give each other specific roles. What you want to do. I think this game has some depth to it.
Does it have a macro like you should use one of your squad mates as bait and then just
Yeah, for example,
like a trap?
you could do that. That's all. So there is some strategizing and some depth to it. I'm just saying.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, it reminds me because I never really played the previous Star Wars games when it comes to TIE Fighter and multiplayer. I don't think the ones I played even had multiplayer.
TIE
But I
Fighter
used to-
never had multiplayer.
Yeah, so yeah, I never really played that multiplayer, but I did play Il Sturmovik 2 or something like that, which is it's flight combat simulators. But yeah, that's where the teamwork comes in. Essentially, you can play solo, but you're not going to do much solo. It's all about having a couple of mates that go in with you, and each of you has a different role, and it's about supporting each other. If either of you gets caught up solo, you're dead, and I think that's how it should be. And if there's if they add a way to more ways to customize your TIE fighter or the X-wing or whatever, I think it would do the game well, because then you're not necessarily adding depth, but you're adding more options.
Yes.
And from options will arise depth.
Options, and you feel that this is your machine, that it is your personal machine that you could spray paint over and stuff like that.
Yes.
I don't even mean that. I'd rather just have them add actual side grades to your gear on the TIE fighter.
Yeah, side grades and some some bright lights.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so far, when it comes to microtransactions, I haven't found a store yet. There are 2 currencies you can earn in multiplayer, but you just have to play the game and earn them, and they are given out actually relatively, let's say, not sparingly. What's the opposite of sparingly?
Sparsely?
Graciously.
Oh, graciously.
They're not tight with it. They just give it to you.
That's great. My fears were that if you remember the older Star Wars Battlefront, like not the new one but the old one.
Yeah.
They had the part when you could go TIE fighting and battles in space. So my fears were that they just, when they were making the Battlefront 2, the new one, they just cut that point out.
Yeah.
And then they were going to sell it as a new game, just the part of the Battlefront. That was my fear about the game.
No, they didn't do that.
So this is the point, right?
No, this is not the point, because here's something else. Completely got rid of third person, so you cannot go into third person in this game, which you can in Battlefront, for example. I think Battlefront is entirely third person as well. This is one thing you should always keep in mind. If you get motion sick, you shouldn't play this game, probably, because that's a bad idea. On the other hand, it's more of an immersive, in quotations, in very large quotations, sim of what it would be in an X-Wing or TIE Fighter cockpit. I don't think they ripped it straight out of the Battlefront 2. I've never played Battlefront 2, granted, but it doesn't look like it. It feels like its own thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah. The way it looks and moves, it doesn't indicate that it would be a cutout feature from another game.
No.
It looks like they have built this from the ground up to be its own thing. And I think that's why also it's not in Battlefront 2, because they knew at some point that essentially they would be cannibalizing their own product.
Yeah.
This is the game, the gameplay and everything. Like I said, in the first 5 hours I had a blast with it. I never expected that. granted. So if you have no expectations, you cannot be disappointed. I mean, it's EA. They probably could disappoint me still.
Yeah.
But this feels like a whole package, and there are no microtransactions whatsoever. I don't believe that for a
That is
second.
unusual. I think they would just add it a bit
Yes.
later.
Yes, exactly. That's my thesis as well. I give them 3 weeks, and if this game is just moderately successful, they are going to pop up. They will be
Yeah.
still mild, and why I will come to in a bit, because I want to talk about another topic that's linked to that game. I can see them popping up, totally.
Okay, like mushrooms.
Yes, I can see them popping up. I don't know if they will. Like I said, I have a thesis why they might not. I have also a thesis why they might. We'll see. I'm gonna
Okay,
explain
so it's
everything
50-50.
later. I'll explain everything later when we go in the
Okay.
topic link to the game. So,
You have us intrigued.
yes, I have conspiracy theories galore for you today, gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Sure, Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do an Alex Jones in the corner, bum bum. I'm gonna moth him over you when I edit this.
Just keep yourself alive, okay?
That was my impression of Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Would I recommend it? From what I played, yes, it's a good game. I don't give a shit what critics say or what anyone says, because fuck those guys. I say this is a good game, get it. It's fun. And that's all what counts.
I can tell you guys about Genshin if you'd like.
Genshin Impact.
The Genshin Impact, yeah.
Yeah.
So this new game, Genshin Impact, when it went live recently, and it's made on an Unity engine. Who could have thought? It looks really nice. It's got this anime feel to it, and the thing is, it's a gacha game. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like fond of it if I knew that it's a gacha game that was aimed at a younger audience, because younger audience usually has less defense against all those gacha mechanics and stuff. But I played the game, and I can tell you that it's not heavily gacha. It can be played without money, completely free. You don't have to waste money to progress through the game. And right now, I haven't hit a wall, any paying wall. And the feel from the game is really good. It reminds me of some JRPG games from the PSP or Nintendo DS that I've played. And it reminds, of course, of the Link Adventures and the Zelda games. I love how the game has elements like fire, water, a bit like the Pokemon do, and you have think how you can improvise and use different elements of attack from your group of adventurers to be able to fight small pockets of monsters and to progress through quizzes and like elements like puzzles using different elements. The graphics is great, the sound is great. You can see that the game is targeted at the younger audience because of the vibes and everything. But well, for me, it felt great. It's like going for a walk or or fishing, something like that. There is a story about it, but it's not rolling out too fast, so you can just run around and farm stuff. You can craft stuff. The gacha element to it is finding new heroes that have maybe different elements and different fighting styles, but the game itself gives you, during the progression, gives you some of the heroes, so you won't feel that you have to pay for something to get further. If you need a hero with a certain element to progress, the game gives it to you.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
How long have you played the game?
A couple of days.
I mean, like, total hours. Do you have a total in hours?
I can't, it's not on Steam or something, so I can't see like the total hours of it.
Estimated?
Maybe 20 or so.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now it feels quite good. I'm waiting for that paywall.
Because I think it's released in chapters, right?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, so I think that paywall's gonna hit with the next, or the chapter after that, because I don't think they're gonna go on without milking the player base, because
Yeah.
it's MiHoYo who are notorious on the mobile market for essentially gouging their player base.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it's not so bad at the start right now because it's new and they want to get players hooked. But
Mhm.
once they deem they have enough players, they're gonna start trickling hard all the challenges to make people essentially pay.
Yeah, it might happen. So it's interesting to, for me, it's interesting to watch and see where this goes. I
Mhm.
already can see that some stuff you can like get only on certain days, and it reminds me of a game that I've played on PSP with the Final Fantasy series, a fighting game.
Oh, this
When
idea.
Yeah, this idea was great. When you should like play the game on certain days of the week to get some stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but I like it. It makes me feel that you can plan something like beforehand to get
Mhm.
something. But yeah, we'll see where this goes. Right now, it feels okay. It feels like a good clone of Zelda with some tweaks and something new in it. So you can't say that it's clone of Zelda. It's a game that is heavily inspired by some stuff from Zelda, and it's free. So I think that it's okay to try it, and later we'll see how they will milk the people out of it. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for chapter 2 to release until, and then midway through the paywall hits.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
that's how.
you'll see when it will hit, and then you'll like.
It's, as Bamba pointed out, that the developers are notoriously known for doing it like when you're 50 hours in or something,
Mhm,
because you already invested so much time,
mhm.
and then you're more prone to pay for it. They are
Yeah.
also Chinese developers and not Japanese developers,
Yeah,
Mhm.
just to point
the
it out.
Chinese. Yeah.
They chose an art style which is more feasible in the West for them
Mhm.
and is more widely accepted, also in the West and in the East. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's tricky.
I I'm very cautious when it comes to that game.
Yeah, it essentially looks like it was made in test tube.
I don't
Yeah, it might have.
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I'm sorry. I mean, if you're having fun with it, go for it. But please keep in mind there has to be a catch somewhere.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
and that's why I'm even more interested. I want to find the sketch and like tell
yeah,
you guys that, oh my god, I found it.
yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
I want to hear about that at some point.
Yeah. So I'm
We need
telling
to
you
do a
that like
follow up.
I'm an undercover player and
Yeah,
staying there,
okay.
and I'll just tell you
Okay.
when it hits. So
Because
I'm
I all I hear on Twitter is like, especially from members of my streaming team, that the paywall doesn't hit. And I'm sitting
uh,
here and I'm
it
like, yeah, I
it
don't
doesn't
believe
it
you.
doesn't hit right now. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I
yeah,
also think that it will hit sometime because I know this stuff. I worked for a
No,
company that was
they
in mobile gaming. I know that it hits. I'm just interested how they do this. When will it hit? That's why
no,
I'm interested.
but that person specifically said it never hits.
Oh no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I disagree with that.
And I'm
I'm
like,
just it
yeah, no.
will hit, but I'm interested when and how. How are they going to do it? That's
yeah. I think they're just being like, for all the shady stuff they do on the mobile side. I think
Yeah.
they're really smart and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
At this point, like everyone's seen how, because no, the thing is, nobody on the mobile market really cares what happens. But on, when you're on consoles and on PC, people watch loot boxes and stuff like a hawk.
yeah,
And once
and that's good.
once they see just a tiny little lapse in everyone's attention towards the game, that's when it hits.
Yeah,
Give it 2-3 weeks, the microtransactions are gonna be horrible.
Okay. It's time. Okay. Bum Bum says 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's write it down. 2-3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks. Okay.
Everyone, no,
What's
everyone.
your prediction? What's your
My
prediction? Okay.
my prediction is roughly around the same. I don't give it a real
Oh,
time frame, but
why? You have to give it a time frame. It will be.
my
It will be
no
good.
no my prediction is this. Like Bam Bam said, loot boxes are an absolute no on consoles and on PC at the moment. It's like you
They
want
should
to
be an
dance,
absolute
you
no, but
want
there are
you
some
yeah
shit
still, but
games.
you want to dance with the devil.
I
That's
don't.
what. No. The developers, they want
Yeah.
to dance with the devil, and gacha elements are basically loot boxes. They
Yeah.
are.
They are. Yeah.
And here's the kicker. I'm pretty sure as soon as the hype of this game dies down a little bit, they will install the paywall.
They should do it a bit before the hype dies down.
No, they will do it when the hype dies down because, like Bam Bam said, everyone is watching it now. And imagine word getting out, hey, there is a fucking huge ass paywall in this game. Nobody's going to touch it. They want to reel the players in first, and then they want to steal their money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's logical.
it's what all these gacha games, these hero collection games do. You know, be it Raid or the Marvel game or the Arknights. It's all the obviously shitty games you see ads on YouTube for, or YouTubers do for. These games will at the start shower you with premium currency,
Yeah, that's the
new
case.
heroes, stuff like that to get you hooked. And once like this the honeymoon period ends, that's where the real paywall kicks in. It's like, oh, now you don't have enough heroes to sacrifice to power up your current heroes. Oh well, you might buy this pack for like 90 euros,
Yeah,
and maybe you can pass this level, maybe not. Roll the dice.
exactly.
Yeah,
Especially
that's some dark
when
shit over there. Yeah.
that's why I want legislation, not to just look at consoles and PC games. I want them to look at the mobile market.
I think mobile market is the worst
The
in
mobile
this one.
market is evil
Yeah.
when it comes to that. It's straight up evil. There's not even a debate to be had. Just
Yeah.
look at Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh,
They
God.
advertised the shit out of this stupid fucking shit game. It's on PC now, by the way, so
Yeah.
don't go
The
for
cancer has reached the master
Yeah.
race.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
no. Yeah, but the advertisements are really good.
No,
You can say that.
I
They're
think they
they're
are
made in
freaking
a way.
obnoxious and should die in a fire.
Yeah, but the
They pay everyone under the sun just to shill their product to.
yeah, I get that one. I'm all for that one, but the advertisement themselves are made really well.
No, I
The
hate them.
graphics and everything.
I hate them. I just hate them.
I think the only ones that are passable are by the internet historian, just because he mocks them.
My favorite part was still when I saw an advertisement that flat out stole sounds from Paladins.
Yeah, but like that's the entire thing for the mobile game market. It's like I've seen trailers for this weird like AFK zombie survival game on mobile. One of the trailers had Metal Gear Solid music, the other one had Silent Hill music. Then there was, for some reason, characters from The Last of Us. I'm like, how does this get through? We talked about it, or like mobile games using art from different games. There is a mobile game I've seen using art from Near Automata, and it's not even the game. It's the booklet for the recorded concert DVD.
Oh man, that's really
we talked about this, I think, in another episode.
Yeah, it was really early. Yeah.
Yeah. The mobile market is wild, man. We can still do a follow up episode on that one because there's so much more to uncover. It's insane.
Yeah, it's a black hole where dreams go to die.
Yeah.
This might be true.
It is true. This is not only mine, it is true. But we veered off a little bit, so we keep an eye on Genshin Impact. Our secret KGB agent down there
Yeah,
will
I'll
tell
get you
us.
covered, guys. I get you covered. I give this game 1 month.
Yeah.
So a bit more than 2 to 3 weeks. So I would say 1 month. Bam Bam would say 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
What's your estimation, Orco? You can't wiggle out of this one. You should.
I
You,
can't
you,
wiggle out
you
of this one.
oh, please don't. Come
Okay,
on.
I say 3 weeks.
Okay, 3 weeks. I'm writing this down actually right now. So 3 weeks says Orco. I say month, and Bum Bum says 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'll get you covered on this one.
All right.
Essentially, it's once the honeymoon period with all the streamers covering it is out,
Yeah. I
and
get
people
going.
stop caring. That's when they're like, well, push the microtransaction button.
Yeah. Secretly.
As soon contracts with the streamers run out, they will press the button.
Yeah.
And I will be there and laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I wanted to talk about, the topic linked to Star Wars Squadrons. The future of Star Wars in gaming. Because Star Wars is actually at a juncture right now when it comes in gaming and probably also in general. But we'll get to that as well. So, as you might have all known or not known, depending on how good your knowledge of the industry is, Battlefront 2, and I'm not talking about the old one, I'm talking about the new one, was EA's attempt to milk the sweet of the Force. It was so bad that allegedly, and I actually believe that happened, the Mouse House called them and told them to stop.
On Reddit.
I believe that, and here is why. Every subsequent Star Wars product after Battlefront 2, granted we only got 2, but every subsequent Star Wars product by EA didn't have any microtransactions whatsoever. And that is weird. The
breakout was so big that even politicians went on it like big time.
I don't want to focus on the politics right now. I just want to keep it between EA and Disney.
Yeah, but the Disney called after it went really viral and really bad.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Investors, I think it's all in the investors that weren't comfortable with that one after it went into politics. So
yeah, like I said, I just want to keep it between EA and Disney at the moment because this is where the pudding is and the meat is. So
yep.
After this happened, Andrew Wilson, I mean, he wasn't probably never a fan of the Star Wars franchise or IP, suddenly started turning around on the license and said it's like not the future of EA. Basically insinuating multiple times that he's over the Star Wars license. And here's what happens, and here's also why I give Squadrons a lifetime of 3 to 6 months. At the moment, EA has nothing, absolutely nothing racked up for Star Wars. That was their last Star Wars release. There is nothing announced. There's nothing probably even in the cooker. They have nothing on Star Wars. They will give the license back to Disney.
Makes sense, yeah.
And
it might be.
Here is why. Why would they give back the license to Disney? First, because Disney told them to suck it up and make games with it and not microtransaction fests. Second, I believe that the Star Wars IP overall is too damaged at this point to grant or to justify the investment they probably have to make to keep the license. Because if you look at the box office trajectory just of the sequel trilogy, so from A New Hope to whatever the last one was called,
Rise of Skywalker.
Oh God, my brain.
Oh no!
So from a Last Hope over the last from A New Hope to the Last Jedi and to Last of the
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. the box office started off with a 2 billions. 2 billions. Just imagine that, yeah? 2 billions. Okay? We're talking about $2 billion. I think only Avatar had more at one point at that point when it released. Even Avengers Endgame had to be released twice to the cinema to cross that threshold. So we are talking about a massive success here. Yeah? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the box office numbers for The Last Jedi. We are already down 700 million. And that's basically the box office numbers dropping off a cliff, like Wile E. Coyote style. And they melted even further in The Rise of Skywalker. We are talking about $1 billion. While this all sounds all still good, a drop of 50% is not good in this business.
Yeah, the
And it
inventors,
shows.
the
It
investors
shows.
won't like.
It's not just the investors, but Disney overpaid for Star Wars when they first purchased it.
Yeah. How much was it? Did they pay like 4 billion?
They paid 4 billion, and by all accounts and purposes, it was just 3.8 because they had nothing in the cooker as well. George Lucas had nothing lined up. No video games, no new movies, no nothing. The entire franchise at that point ran just slowly on the Star Wars, on the Clone Wars TV series.
The thing with Star Wars is that, in a way, at the time, because it's a thing that essentially connects generations.
Yes.
And, say what you will, like Last Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Yes, those movies are still great. They don't get ruined retroactively by, either the prequel trilogy or the new trilogy. And I think they, like, at the time, because that was just with the prequel trilogy, people still had, like a nostalgia for the franchise, and
Oh, they sure do.
those people, don't have that anymore because they've seen what has happened to it once Disney got a hold of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of nostalgia has just been wiped out. I
Yeah.
feel it in the force.
Yeah, the disturbance is really great.
And I think a lot has to do also with it by the main producer of the sequel trilogy, Kathleen Kennedy, just outright dismissing every extended universe stuff there ever was.
My God, my ass was on fire. I was so angry.
Yeah.
Like, all this is non-canon. I go, come
Mm.
on. I mean, you've just killed your fan base.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, yes, you say it was the Clone Wars that kept the franchise going, but it was, very much, I think, as you said, it is the expanded universe stuff.
Also, but it's way or vastly more unknown than anything else. I think
like,
the main line at this time when they bought it was Clone Wars.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
That was the point. Of course, there was the extended universe as well, but the statement was just like, yeah, okay, we make this all non-canon and call it Legends, and from here on out, there was also money involved. It was about merch and everything.
Yeah.
So
The problem also was with Kathleen Kennedy. She also messed with the trilogy that J.J. Abrams had set out.
Yeah.
Like, what's it the name?
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. He wasn't even, like, from the get-go, he wasn't set to be even involved with the franchise. He was brought in by her, essentially railroading into different direction the entire new trilogy that's, ended up as it ended up being. Because, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Force Awakens, but it still was a decent, like, throwback to the old Star Wars movies. It was better than any of the prequel trilogy movies. That's for sure.
Yeah, probably until some other stuff kicked in.
I liked Rogue Squadron.
You mean, was it called Rogue Squadron? No.
Yeah, I think it was. The books were as well, Rogue Squadron.
No, it was Rogue something. I don't think it's.
I like that one. The Rogue something. It felt a bit like the old ones, the old movies.
Oh, it's
Well,
the
for me.
which books, right?
That aside. So, what we have now, to come back to the main line of thinking, or to the main point, we have a extremely damaged brand that was some time ago, when EA purchased it, very promising in terms of monetization for them.
Mhm.
That has changed. It has changed on both sides. Disney did their best to damage Star Wars beyond repair, and I'm pretty sure it can't be repaired at this point. And we have EA who tried to monetize the out of it. And Disney told him to not do that. EA is in a bit of a kerfuffle here. EA has to deal with a damaged brand they cannot monetize as they wish. So obviously what makes the most sense for EA? To give the license back.
Yeah, that would be logical.
And I fully believe that this happens, and I fully believe Star Wars Squadrons is their last effort. And I fully believe they will not do anything about Star Wars Squadrons and let it die. That's why I give it 3 to 6 months. You just have to look at the launch price.
Yeah.
When ever does EA launch a game at $40?
Yeah, it's
Never.
essentially
Never.
trying to entice people by this, lower price tag to recoup as much money as possible
Yeah.
Yes.
before it all goes up in flames.
Yes, exactly.
They're
And
trying
this
to
is
take the zero income, like.
yeah, they just try to recoup their losses now
Yeah.
and to get out of it as fast as they can. And
Yeah.
this is what will happen. And I will predict it now. They will shut down the servers in the next year for this game. They just
Well,
will.
they rarely like have the services more than a couple of years. So yeah,
Yeah.
a 1 year should be the case.
Especially with this, it's yes, it's a it looks like a good game, but at the same time, it's also a niche game.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people will engage even with the multiplayer. So the servers are gonna die. As you said,
Yeah.
just give it a couple of months. This is not gonna be, the Battlefield 4 thing where the servers are still up and you can still play multiplayer in Battlefield 4 just because the game is still active.
Exactly.
Whereas, this is gonna have its honeymoon period. People are gonna play it a lot now just because it's a new thing, but a small group will stick with it for
a
a
very
longer
long
period.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's so niche. It's a very
Yeah.
niche product.
Yeah.
And people are hot now on it, and I don't even think a lot of people are that hot on it, to be honest.
Mhm.
Because it's still a niche product. It's very niche. And so I think that EA is just getting ready to ditch Star Wars. Everything
Yep.
points to it. I mean, what
Yeah.
Disney could do after that with their license, I don't know.
I mean, they could, do just what
Lucas did and just
Yeah.
give the license to various developers.
Yeah,
I'm
just
not
get,
sure if they will do that because Disney is too greedy for that.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I think that would be the smarter way to go. To license it out, essentially send out, okay, we're open now for your project pitches.
Yes, exactly.
Send us your pitch. Okay.
Here's
And
the
yeah,
license. Yeah.
Here is the license. This is the contract. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the smart way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you say, Nintendo, God, Disney's just way too up their own ass at this point.
Yeah.
That I don't think they have that kind of foresight.
You just have to see what they did to LucasArts.
Yeah.
They had a very fine development studio with an, I
And
would
they just ditched
say,
it right away.
Yeah, good track record, and they just disbanded it outright. Without even thinking about it.
Disney kind of makes me wonder how big the company got without any decent foresight when it comes to future of media.
Oh, Disney has a lot of foresight when it comes
But
to future of media.
But the thing is, I think it's a similar way to Nintendo. They're coasting solely on nostalgia because people grew up watching Disney movies and interacting with Disney brands.
Yeah.
And I think they just need to evolve into a more open environment where if they want to, like, say Star Wars, because Star Wars as a brand, as you said, is dying. It's essentially going down the drain because of what they did to it.
Yeah.
And you can see like there's still glimmer of hope, like the Mandalorian. Like the series actually takes the source material seriously and does
Yeah.
something cool with it, and it's a smaller project. So I think that's for them a way to keep the brand still alive and slowly trickle in, better stuff. So it's like you don't need to do like a triple A title, but you can do smaller titles throughout say a period of 4 years. Instead of doing one big game, you do like 2 or 3 smaller ones, each for a separate niche within the within the fandom. So you do it like, oh, this game's about Jedi's. Oh, this is a pod racer for whatever reason, and that's a dogfighter, or it's a shooter from a perspective of a rogue squadron of clone troopers or whatever.
Yeah, that could work, and that could also heal the franchise and return some of the fans with the feel that it didn't die out, and I think
Yeah.
that's something good.
See, this is actually what I want to happen to Star Wars. Some of the
Yeah.
best games I've ever played were Star Wars games.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
give that license to talented developers that actually give a about the franchise, and not to a corporate entity that just wants to milk its dry.
I recently replayed the Republic Commando, which is one of the best squad-based shooters out there.
Yes, it is. It absolutely
It's a lot of
is.
fun.
It
It has also a lot of character. Like each is like a clone, but at the same time they have each of their own personality.
You wanna know what the funny part about Rogues, or about Republic Commando is?
What?
It even on the newer outings of Rainbow Six in terms of
That's for sure.
tactics.
Yeah.
It's so good. We need a sequel to that. Can we get a sequel to that, please?
Do you
That
really
would be
want to see
great.
how it looks?
No, I mean like a straight up sequel, like just
Like a good one.
yeah, like a good
Yeah,
one.
good one. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I would love to. Even hell, another
Just give the
Jedi
license.
Outcast.
Yeah, or just give the license to Capcom and let them make a DMC inspired hack and slash with a Jedi. Come on.
You
Oh,
would
yeah.
love it, but you don't believe in it, right?
And I don't believe that will happen ever. But you sure as hell can bet your left that I would as hell if that was true.
Like a Capcom. Hell, even if it was like an Onimusha style gameplay with a Jedi, yeah, why the hell not?
Just give it to developers that actually care about the. This is my entire point. Don't give it to a complete corporate brand, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big, I think, still the big divide between Western publishing houses and the ones from, say, like Japan. Those publishing houses still have a reverence towards the media, and they understand that if they make a good product, it will sell. Whereas a lot of the Western publishing houses at this point are coasting just on the brands they put out. Even Ubisoft is like one of the other that's very much responsible for this, because how far have they really innovated with their franchises, be it Assassin's Creed or Far Cry? There's zero movements towards even attempts to make the franchises further games unique. It's just copying the formula from the previous games and not changing anything, and just coasting on the fact that it's another Assassin's Creed game and people are gonna buy it just because it's an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, investment tactics. When you don't want to lose anything.
It's also a kind of a fault of the audience because they enable it. People buy these games. People buy crappy Star Wars products in much the same way without even thinking about it, because it's Star Wars, I gotta have it. Not thinking it's like, oh, should I maybe look up reviews or check if it's good or worth even. So yeah, I think it goes both ways, and that's the hard part. You can't really, change anything about the corporate world or anything like that unless it stops making money.
Yeah, I get that.
A vote with the wallet, yes.
I just want I mean, that's probably a wish that is like very reasonable, but all I want is just good Star Wars games. Can we have that, please? That's all I want.
I mean, it's not completely impossible.
Squadrons is for example really good, but Squadrons is also the swan song for Star Wars on EA. I'm pretty sure on that.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
probably here is why, and this is also a theory I have, and why it ended up being actually halfway decent. It's not like this is a masterpiece or anything, but I think EA took a very hands-off approach with that one. They just let Motive do whatever they want.
yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like, even from the looks of it, it doesn't feel like a corporate product. It feels like someone actually went in and was like, "Oh, I can make a TIE fighter, a new one. Sure, here we go." And I was just also gonna say that it's like, yes, it's like there's a lot of bad stuff that happened with EA, but that's also how we got like Republic Commando, the original Battlefront 2, or the Jedi Outcast games, right?
Yeah.
Or Jedi
Yep.
Knight games. Yeah, that's all under EA because they've had the license. Jedi Knight games. Jedi Knight games are still
was
LucasArts. Those are
Activision.
still, yeah, Activision and LucasArts still. Yeah, but even then, it's like we had a history of really good Star Wars games. So I think take a look there and see. It's like it wasn't just it was either LucasArts or it was a variety of developers. It
Yeah.
was BioWare, Activision, LucasArts. So I think that's the thing. It's like you can't have a string of good games from a single franchise that are gonna come out of a single house, especially as one that's driven by sheer greed for money as EA. You need, as they say, variety is the spice of life, and the more hats you have taken on the franchise and the source material, the more
Yeah,
the more chance there is for a unique and good take on the franchise.
I agree to that. I hope Disney wakes up. I hope Disney doesn't do the same mistake again and sells the license to Ubisoft.
Oh God, no, please, no.
Or to, even worse, Activision.
They should sell it to CD Projekt Red.
I think they can't afford it, to be honest.
Yeah, I
they,
think.
they can't, yeah.
I think they must have, or CD Projekt Red takes their time with making games, and they need to be on a very vicious development cycle to recoup that kind of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
the thing is,
But
you can wish
that
for
would
it,
be
right?
that would be the beauty of just handing out the license to other developers this kind of style, because imagine just licensing one game to CD Projekt Red and saying, okay, let's make me a Star Wars game Witcher style.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. That should
Yeah,
be great.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why this model is probably better than just selling the entire IP to a grand ass company.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
what we could like for that project, say like CD Projekt, I'd it's like have them redo the idea for Star Wars 1313. I'm tired of being a Jedi or a Sith. I want to be a bounty hunter.
Or that, yeah. Let them make that. I can see that work well, even with having a, like, I don't know, not a Sith as an end boss. Like, I can fully see that working. It's just everyone wants to be a Jedi. That's why I always bring up the Jedi's.
Yes, the boring people.
I want to be an alien bounty hunter as well. Give me all the Star Wars races. Let me be a Trandoshan bounty hunter. Let me channel my inner Bosk.
Let me be a Mandalorian.
Or that.
Oh yeah.
Let me channel my inner Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Just let me channel something that hasn't been done before.
Hell, there's plenty of options to do a horror game within Star Wars universe. There's so many weird, like you have the subspace, you have the weird viruses.
There's actually also a really fun book where Chewbacca and Han Solo enter a Star Destroyer that is full of zombies.
Oh, okay, good. I'm gonna have to read that.
Bam Bam is like, what did I just hear? It exists. I can send you a picture later. I have that.
Oh, cool. No, because it's like there's so much, because the Star Wars universe is not just that.
Yeah,
and
it's
I think
just
that's
chock full, and even the Force powers differ wildly. I've read another book where just some Jedi, to go back to the Jedi's, the boring people, which aren't that boring actually in the expanded universe, but we did take it all away, right?
Yeah.
That Jedi had Force powers to communicate and make plants grow, and couldn't do much else, but totally repelled an invasion of Sith Lords. Yeah, it sounds silly, but it's so much fun.
No, there's like, as I said, like even when you think there's also the races that have been never touched upon outside the expanded universe. You have this, I forgot what's their names that come from the dark space.
Yuuzhan Wong, I think.
Yeah. They're a bit weird, but at the same time, there are good sources of information and good stories with them that you could use as a base. Or as I said, there's the faster than light travel in Star Wars universe. Some of the books started borrowing like the warp from Warhammer, so there's like that kind of like body horror there as well. So I think there is a lot of stuff. I think the main issue with also Disney owning the brand is you have to be squeaky clean and family friendly.
Yeah, that's a minus.
Oh well, we will see where it goes. Anything to add to that?
I just want good games, please.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Alright, then I would wrap it up here. This has been the 25th episode of the Orcocast with my beautiful moderator and co-host Bum Bum. And with our new panel member down there, Ray Fox, who hopefully comes back again.
I'll try not to die.
You gopnik, you. Alright, so, where can we find you, Ray Fox?
I've got a Twitter right now.
Give us the Twitter handle.
Ray Fox the Gamer. That's me.
Ray Fox the Gamer. Perfect. Bum Bum, we can find you in my chat, as you always say, and today even on Hunt with me, where I drink rum and celebrate shit, and you are going to be there as well, I hope, Ray Fox.
Yeah, of course.
Gopnik Squad on Hunt, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And you can find me on twitch.tv/theorcosaurus, twitter.com/theorcosaurus, Instagram, Orcosaurus. And that's basically it. I'm also on Facebook, on TikTok, and on every other avenue there is, but like, those are my three main outlets. And I don't
spreading the seed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm spreading not the seed, the spores. I'm an aggressive space fungus, you know that.
Oh yeah.
But
sorry.
Not on the mixer.
Yeah. No, not on the mixer. The mixer is dead.
Yeah.
Mixer is dead. Alright, this has been Orcocast episode 25. Thank you for attending, thank you for being here, and thank you for listening, for watching. You have all been a very amazing audience, and I bid thee a farewell. Bye bye.
Have a good day, everyone.